What's going on, my aviation enthusiasts? This is Brandon, just a plane guy, coming back at you today with another highly anticipated model. This model right here needs no introduction in the civilized world or anywhere. You know, whenever you see this plane, it is a symbol, a beacon of hope. It is an aircraft that, you know, you want to have in your collection. It's an aircraft that you want to have in your photos, because we never know when this aircraft will be retired. But fortunately, this aircraft is still flying, as we know. And this aircraft has serviced some of the mighty men and women of this country. And it needs no introduction. But just for the sake of this video, we're going to introduce this bad boy right here. We're going to introduce this bad boy right here. So this is the Inflight200 Air Force One Boeing VC-25A. It is a modified version of a 747-200 series. As you guys know, this is the current plane that the President of the United States uses. It has been used for the best of times. It's been used for the worst of times. It's been used for diplomatic transport. You name it, it's done it. It's carried the greatest men and women of this country. And it's been through a lot of things. It's seen a lot of things. It has a lot of flight hours, a lot of missions. So it might be a little lengthy today. I'm going to try to keep this under 30 minutes. So I purchased this model from, well, of course, off of Inflight by way of my hobby store, Burbank's House of Hobbies in Burbank, California. This aircraft is very special. I tried to get one of these aircraft. I tried to get this model back when it first came out. And, you know, when you look at certain models, you know, for me personally, I don't just go and buy, you know, 5 to 15 of the same models. You know, I wanted to make a model airport. I still go back and forth with wanting to make a model airport, but all that aside, I have to really put my heart and my soul into when I'm picking a certain type of model. And I didn't jump on this particular model until the second release, which was this one right here. And I'm glad I did, because if you try to find this on eBay, if you try to find this on any other site, not only will they be sold out, but if you find it on eBay, they're gonna ask you for a nice, decent amount of change. So, so this is the Inflight200, United States of America, Air Force One, as we all come to know and love. The Boeing 747 VC-25A, a modified Boeing 747-200. And so we're going to jump right into it. As you guys know, I like to give you guys a little history of the aircraft and how it came into, how it was born. So here we go. You know, we're going to go to our trusty Wikipedia. Sound like Trump almost, huh? Wikipedia. It's true. It's true. All right. Well, we won't do impressions here today. Okay, so let's get into some information about the Boeing VC-25, the modified 747-200. Okay. The Boeing VC-25 is a military version of the Boeing. The Boeing VC-25 is a military version of the Boeing 747 airliner, modified for presidential transport and commonly operated by the United States Air Force. That's Air Force One. The call sign of any U.S. Air Force aircraft carrying the President of the United States. Okay. Its first flight was on May 16th, 1987. The introduction was August 23rd, 1990. Status is still in service, and the primary user is the United States Air Force. Number built was 2. So there's 2 of these that have been built. And of course, you know, that could be for all types of uses. You know, one aircraft could be down, And so the president will hop on, the second one, or it could be used as a decoy. We never know. We don't know all the ins and outs of what the second one is for, but I mean that would make sense, right? Only 2 examples of this aircraft are in service. They are highly modified Boeing 747-200Bs, designated VC-25A, and having tail numbers of 28,000 and 29,000. Although technically the Air Force One designation applies to aircraft only while the president is on board, the term is commonly used to refer to the VC-25 in general. The 2 aircraft often operate in conjunction with Marine One helicopters, which ferry the president to airports whenever a vehicle motorcade would be inappropriate. 2 new aircraft based on the 747-I and designated VC-25B have been ordered by the U.S. Air Force to replace the aging VC-25-As. So, as you guys can clearly see, we're not going to have this beauty around much longer. And it's sad because the 747s are basically all phased out except for the 747-8I Intercontinentals and a few cargo planes that still fly cargo, of course. So, everything has to come to an end, unfortunately. So I'm going to say this right now. If you guys can get this model and have it in your collection, your arsenal, please do. Because, we won't see us again unless it's in a museum somewhere. Let's go on to a little more information. By 1985, the pair of Boeing 707 based VC-137s used as a presidential aircraft had been in service for 23 and 13 years respectively, and the USAF began searching for an eventual replacement. The request for proposal issued stated that the aircraft to be selected should have at least 3 engines and unrefueled range of at least 6,000 miles. Both Boeing with its 747 and McDonnell Douglas with the DC-10 were in competition to be selected, with the Boeing entry the eventual winner. The fabrication of the current 747s began during the presidency of Ronald Reagan. The VC-25s were completed in 1986 and first flew in 1987. The interior designs were created by First Lady Nancy Reagan, who used designs reminiscent of the American Southwest. Problems with the interior wiring for communication systems delayed delivery of the 2 aircraft until 1990, during the administration of George H.W. Bush. The Air Force reported that the operating cost for each of these aircraft in 2014 was $210,877 per hour. Can you imagine that? $210,000 per hour. The VC-25 is capable of flying 7,800 miles, roughly 1/3 of the distance around the world without refueling. The VC-25A can accommodate more than 70 passengers. Each VC-25A costs approximately $325 million. While the VC-25 has 2 main decks and a cargo area, like a regular Boeing 747, its 4,000 square feet of floor space has been reconfigured for presidential duties. Its lowest level is mostly cargo space, carrying luggage and the onboard food supply. The main passenger area is on the 2nd floor or the main deck. There are 3 entrances on board, 2 on the main and 1 on the lower deck. Typically, the president boards and disembarks from the front. Main deck entrance via an air stair. Okay. While journalists and other passengers enter at the rear door of the main deck. Facilities for the press and other passengers are configured like any ordinary airline's first class cabin. The White House. The front section of the aircraft is informally called the White House. A reference to the president's office, a reference to the president's official residence in Washington, D.C. The president's executive suite includes sleeping quarters with 2 couches that can be converted into beds, a lavatory and shower, a vanity double sink, and a private office or president's Oval Office aboard Air Force One. If necessary, the president can address the nation from the office. The capability was added after September 11th, during which the aircraft had to land at Barksdale Air Force Base for President George Bush to address the nation. Okay. These offices, including the president's suite, are mostly located on the starboard right side, and a long corridor runs along the port left side. The aircraft also contains a conference room, originally designed as a situation room, but now used for meeting with staff while traveling. The room includes a 50-inch plasma screen television, which can be used for teleconferencing. The aircraft has fully equipped office areas with telecommunication systems, including 87 telephones and 19 televisions. My God. That's a lot. On board the VC-25 is a medical annex, which includes a fold-out operating table, emergency medical supplies, and a well-stocked pharmacy. George W. Bush had a treadmill added to the Air Force One during his term in office. Every flight is staffed by a doctor and nurse. The aircraft is self-sufficient, such as carrying all the food it will need. Meals are prepped in 2 galleys, which together are equipped to feed up to 100 people at a time. The president gets a personal menu, and an area where guests sit is near the center of the aircraft, outside the White House. And lastly, there are separate quarters for guests, senior staff, Secret Service, and security personnel, and news media located in the aft area of the main deck. Protocol states that one may wander aft of one's assigned seat, but not forward of it. Communications equipment and the cockpit are on the upper deck. There are also secure and non-secure voice fax and data communications facilities. Ooh, I'm getting tired. While the aircraft luggage capacity is adequate to carry the belongings of the passengers, the logistics train of the president means that the aircraft must fly, preceded by an aerial convoy of 7 cargo transports. And those would be like the Globe Masters, or the, what's the other one? The Galaxies, those kind of transports. Okay. So, all right. We'll read this little bit of operational history, and then we'll get into the model. The VC-25, of course, replaced the VC-137, a variant of the Boeing 707, as the mainstay of the Air Force One fleet. On some occasions, the VC-25 served as transport for the U.S. Vice President, for which serviced the U.S. Air Force 2 call sign. The VC-25A aircraft are maintained and operated as military operations by the Presidential Airlift Group, part of the Air Mobility Command's 89th Airlift Wing, based at Joint Base Andrews in Camp Springs, Maryland. The aircraft can also be operated as a military command center in the event of an incident such as a nuclear attack. Operation modifications include aerial refueling capability and measures against anti-aircraft missiles. The electronics on board are connected with approximately 238 miles of wiring, twice that of a regular 747. All wiring is covered with heavy shielding for protection from a nuclear electromagnetic pulse in the event of a nuclear attack. The aircraft has electronic countermeasures, ECMs to jam enemy radar, flares to avoid heat-seeking missiles, and chaff to avoid radar-guided missiles. All small arms and ammunition stores not in the physical possession of the Secret Service on board the VC-25s are stowed away and secured by the Secret Service in separate locked compartments. Wow, that's a lot of information. I need some water. Each with a different locking mechanism for added security. Many of the VC-25's other capabilities are classified for security reasons. And lastly, after a presidential inauguration resulting in a change in office, the outgoing president is provided transportation on the VC-25 aircraft to their home destination. The aircraft for this flight does not use the Air Force One call sign up. The aircraft for this flight does not use the Air Force One call sign because it is not carrying the president in office. For both Presidents Bill Clinton and George W. Bush, the flight was known as Special Air Mission 2000. The flight was known as Special Air Mission 28,000, where the number represents the aircraft's tail number. The VC-25s have also been used to transport deceased former presidents, as the guest area aft of the White House has chairs and tables that can be removed, and this casket can be laid in their place. The bodies of Ronald Reagan, Gerald Ford, George H.W. Bush were transported to Washington for their state funerals, and then on to their final resting places. Colonel Mark Tillman, pilot for President George W. Bush, said, "We'll take care of the president We'll take care of the president from basically when he's in office to when he lays in his state. Wow. So that's a lot of information. I'll read a little more. We have a few more. The VC-25A aircraft are aging and have become less cost efficient to operate. Sad to say. The U.S. Air Force Mobility Command investigated possible replacements, with early press coverage that the U.S. Air Force will consider the Boeing 747-8 and the Airbus A380. On January 7, 2009, Air Force Material Command issued a new source sought notice for replacement aircraft to enter service by 2017, with an additional 2 aircraft in 2019 and 2021. So I'm going to leave it there. I'm very parched. Oh my goodness, I need some water. Whew. So let's get into the model. The description of the model is not going to be that long. But what's cool about this model is matter of fact, I gotta take the box. It's in the box. So hold on a minute. Let's get to it real quick. Let's get to it, shall we? Okay. So we're just gonna start and do a nice little pan of this beautiful bird. Look at those engines. You know, I gave you guys so much detail already that we're just gonna enjoy the model. How about that? One thing I like about this model is not that it's only streamlined and crisp and clean. You know, even though this bird is aging, like, you can't tell me. Look at that silver bottom. Just look at it. One thing I've always loved about this aircraft is that they keep just like how the real Air Force One is. Look at those engines. Look how crisp and clean they are. Just like the Air Force keeps it, just clean and prestige. Okay, going back to the tail, obviously we have our registration, 29,000. Okay. We have all our antennas and satellite needs. I don't know why my camera has so much issue focusing. No matter if I use the iPhone or my video camera. But going along the fuselage on the top, we see all of our communications, satellites. I'm not going to try to express or try to, give you guys an answer to what all these antennas do, but just know it's for everybody that's working in this aircraft. I would say those 2 big ones right there, these 2 big ones, they have to be for satellite communications. Of course, as I told you in the information of this aircraft, they have defense mechanisms. So I'm very, very sure that most of these antennas and everything that they need, the satellite communication, that's what those are for. But it's just a beautiful aircraft, man. Like, you got your inboard landing lights right there on the left side of the wing. You know, it's that blue and that white. If they come out with the 747-8, I hope they keep this color. I really do. And then we're going to the front of the nose right there, and we see that big bubble on the nose right there of the aircraft. Of course, that's probably more to do with the defense mechanisms. Like I said, I'm not going to sit here and act like I know everything that's on this aircraft, because I don't. I don't think anybody knows exactly everything that's on that aircraft unless they've. I'm trying to focus here. Unless they've, they've worked on it. Okay, let me see. What's going on with my focus here, everybody? I'm sorry. What's going on with my focus here? We want to get some focus in here, right? I'm not going to try to mess with this too much, but you guys see it. You guys see it. So it's just an absolutely gorgeous aircraft. I don't want to take up too much time because 2 things. I don't like to make long reviews because I run out of things to say. But and then my battery doesn't really hold too good for this camera. So I think I gave you guys pretty much the meat and potatoes of this beautiful model. Now, one thing I will say, this is a collector's edition, of course. So I'm going to open up the box and show you what it came with. Okay, that's just a beautiful aircraft. So let me get this box for you guys. Give me a minute. I thought I had what I was looking for, but you guys know me. I love a good stand, right? If you guys know me, I love a good stand. So bear with me a little bit. I'm trying to look for that. Oh, here we go. So I paid about maybe $210 for this model when I got it. And like I say, you like, when you're paying that much money for a model, you want to get some good goodies for it, right? So let's go to the stand. So here we have it. We have our stand right here. Air Force One VC-25A, 29,000. Yes, 29,000. And then you have your black padding up here. Very durable, very cushiony to cover your the bottom of your aircraft model. The stand itself is pretty durable. Pretty durable right there. And yeah, and then you have your plaque. So we like a good stand when it comes to our models, correct? So I'll put that right there. And then also too, what's cool about this, you got a nice little keychain in commemoration of it. So that's what I like about Inflight and JC Wings. Some of these manufacturers, they add like a, I'm gonna pan out a little bit here. See if you got. So they add like a little trinket, or they add a collector's coin. And if you guys want to just pause that at the 2158 mark, it's basically the same thing that the stand is saying. United States of America, VC-25A, 29,000. And then a picture of the aircraft on the back right here. So, so you can't really feel bad about wasting money when you get like little trinkets like this. It just makes you feel like you really spent your money wisely. So yeah. So we're gonna put that right there. I don't mean to cover. All right, we'll just put that right there. So yeah, everybody, that's gonna be this review. I'm sorry that I didn't, turn it around and. Well, okay. Well, you know what? We'll turn it around for you. Let's turn it around. We'll get a different shot here before we say goodbye. So we're just gonna do a small little pan. Look at that blue face. Just absolutely immaculate. I don't want to zoom in too far, but oh my God, look at that. Look at that, just the beauty of it all. And then we'll go down to the fuselage. Oh, absolutely gorgeous. I like those. I know someone in the comments will tell me, but I like those wing tips right there. I like how they have that little extension, and then those beautiful engines. Look at that. Look how clean. Look how clean those mugs are. Oh my Lord. And that's how you know that you spent your money wisely, right? When you get an awesome model like this. Oh my Lord. Those engines are just beautiful, man. So yeah, that's gonna do it for this model review. I stayed under 25 minutes. Well, yeah. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this. Sorry for my lengthy information about this aircraft, but it's very heavy too. It's very heavy. One thing about Inflight, I don't mean to pick the airplane up with one hand, but I'm trying to work my camera too. But one thing about Inflight, it has some weight to it. Their models really have weight to it. I'm very impressed with their models. I think Inflight is more of the upscale, more expensive model. If you have the money to purchase Inflight, I will say in-flight models are very, very expensive than JC and Gemini, and they are much more heavier than JC wings and Gemini jets. I don't know, maybe somebody can attest to that or agree with me, but since I've been collecting in-flight models, they are pretty heavy. So yeah, if you guys don't believe me, yeah, just get one for yourself. Get any in-flight model, even from an Airbus A320. It's still pretty heavy. Like, their die-cast metal is very, very heavy. So I'm gonna give you guys one more pan of this beautiful aircraft. I think it's that blue stripe for me. It's that blue stripe that's just going down the fuselage up to the tail. And I think the 747-8 is going to look really good in this color too if they decide to keep it like this. But yeah, just beautiful. Just beautiful. And I'm going to leave the shot right there. I'm going to leave the shot right there. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this. You know, no pressure, as I always say, but comment, like, subscribe. Thank you once again to the 6,000 subscribers. I will continue to thank you guys because I didn't even expect to have 6,000 subscribers. So you're probably saying, Brandon, that's nothing. Why? You know, no, it's something to me. So if you guys like what I'm doing, I'm going to try to keep pumping out some more of these videos to you. And I got something else coming for you tomorrow, or by Wednesday. We got an interactive series, Cargo Logic jet that we're going to display to you guys. I just got to get my landing gear fixed first. So once I put some crazy glue on that, I'll bust out that review either tomorrow, Tuesday, or Wednesday. So I hope you guys are enjoying your day, wherever you guys might be in the world. You know, let me know in the comments what you guys want to see me do next. You know, I thought about getting some older DC jets, like a couple old DC-10s, you know, kind of switching it up a little bit. But yeah, so this has been the in-depth review of the Air Force One, the VC-25A Boeing 747-200 conversion jet for the military of the United States of America. And this is Just a Plain Guy. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.